and welcome to another episode of A Lost Cause. I'm Shawna.
And I'm Annie.
And today is kind of a special time.
It's super special.
Because we're talking about a very important character in Lost, and particularly in Annie's life and her whole Lost journey. And that is Roger Linus.
Roger Linus.
So, Annie, the first time we ever see Roger is when?
The first time we ever see Roger is when we see his arm. Vincent is holding his arm in his mouth, and he's holding the car keys, which is not accurate.
Yeah. So why is it not accurate?
Well, because when Roger actually dies, he's not holding the keys in his hand. So
yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. But they find this van, and Hurley's like, we could use the van. And I think he thinks it'll be best for recreational things, but I think that it could be really useful to get everywhere. Mm-hmm. But they didn't really think of that, I don't think.
So at the time, it's a Hurley episode. He's feeling really discouraged. And it seems to be just kind of almost like a throwaway scene, right? Of just a happy moment on the island where Hurley gets this van running.
And of course, it's the Sawyer and Jen are with him, and Charlie, and the whole car is filled with beer. So Sawyer's really excited, and there's this skeleton in it, so they take him out and they have a beer with him. And there's a nice scene with Sawyer and Jen.
And how do we know the skeleton is Roger?
Well, he's wearing a Dharma jumpsuit that says Roger Workman.
So tell everybody about your initial reaction to that skeleton Roger and just the whole scene. What did you take away from it?
So me and my family, we would talk about our lost boyfriends, but I didn't have one. So Roger became my boyfriend. And I just said it because he was a skeleton, because it was funny.
Yeah.
Little did I know in about 10 episodes.
Yeah, so for quite a while, it was like you were kind of joking around about, your boyfriend Roger. And in my mind, because it had been several years since I'd watched Lost, and I knew there's just something niggling in the back of my brain, nope, there isn't. Who is Roger again? I don't think she's going to be very happy with who he ends up being. But I just couldn't really remember.
Yep.
So who is this Roger Workman?
So I did catch on. It was another one of those things that, you see the scene, and then you're like, oh, no. Oh, no. I know what's happening. And, so it was the first scene in The Man Behind the Curtain, where Emily's giving birth to Ben Linus, and Roger is trying to help her. And I don't know how far into the episode I realized it, but I think pretty much as soon as she said Roger, I was like, oh no, this is the father of Benjamin Linus. Because I don't know why I thought it was Ben, but I guess it just kind of made sense, because it looked like it was on the island.
Yeah, we're meant to believe it's on the island. Yeah.
So I was not happy. I was not happy with that.
And we've talked about the famous text message.
Yes, we have.
Where you said, what did you say? My boyfriend is, well.
I'm dating freaking off-brand Harry Potter's dad. That's the first one.
Right. Yes. And it's sort of there's kind of two levels, because your boyfriend is Roger, who is his dad. But then also that's the same episode that we're introduced to a character named Annie.
Yeah.
So then it's on another level, you're in love with an off-brand Harry Potter.
So it's really complicated. There's lots of stuff going on there.
Yeah, so your initial reaction was not good.
Yeah.
And yet, somehow you came around.
Somehow it's my favorite episode, and somehow Ben is my favorite character, and see, that's what you need to remember. People can change for the better.
But what's the most interesting about this whole long and complicated journey is that not only did Annie manage to come to love Ben, but her love for Roger somehow remained intact.
Me and Shawna have this joke that may or may not be true, that I become a little bit bipolar when I watch Lost. My brain doesn't quite split it right.
Yeah.
Because I shouldn't love Roger, but yet I still think one of my favorite scenes, like one of the scenes that gets me the most excited in the series, is when Roger is just like, oh, he's just like hitting all the marks with Saeed, and he's trying to be like really smart, but Saeed just like says, yeah, you're the one that mops up after them, and he's like so mad, so like you can just tell he's gonna go home and be mad about that. But then young Ben walks in with just holding the lovely sandwich plate, and Roger freaks out, and I don't think that should not, because I love young Ben. I never shut up about young Ben, but yet I love that scene. I shouldn't. It's very wrong of me, but...
So let's back up a little bit. I know we've talked about this in other episodes, but just to give a bit more background to Roger. So yes, like we first see him as the skeleton, but I mean chronologically, his story begins when his wife gives birth premature, kind of unexpectedly. The baby is born, the baby's Ben. She unfortunately dies. And then when do we next see Roger?
So actually Ben and Roger are on the island now. It's a big plot twist that they're not on the island when Ben's born, because he always says that he was born on the island.
Right.
But yeah, he's not born on the island. He was brought to the island by Horace and probably Olivia, which we talked about last episode, if you haven't watched that.
Like, why not?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So then, like, we're just trying to figure out what the whole, like, how it happened. But Roger is, like, obviously a very mad person. He gets mad when he finds out he's a janitor.
Mm-hmm. So when you come to the island, they just kind of, I think they give you some sort of aptitude test.
Yeah.
And then they assign you a job. So do you think maybe Roger is not very self-aware, like as part of his issue, that maybe he can't recognize his own limitations? Because he seems sort of insulted by this suggestion that that's the best job for him, just to be a janitor.
Well, it did say that. Like, I don't know if he did take the aptitude test, because that's what they say with Jack when he becomes a janitor. But
and it's just like the ultimate like burn kind of by Sawyer, right? That it's like.
But in The Man Behind the Curtain, the lady, Opal, I shouldn't even know that, but she says that there were no other spots left, and that's why he got the place of a janitor. But like, I don't know about that, because then the whole aptitude test doesn't make any sense.
Well, and why did he stay in that role, right?
Yeah, because she says that he could apply for different positions once they're emptied, and obviously there's lots that got emptied with Paul dying
because people
the
are
next
just constantly
year,
dying,
and then the incident. So it's kind of weird that he stayed a janitor all of those years.
All of those years, yeah, for like the rest of his life.
Yeah.
But we don't know what his job was off island. We don't really know much about him at all.
We don't know anything about their life before the island. Probably they just lived in Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is your theory? Like, as the show goes on, we see that, like you said, Roger's a very angry person. He's an alcoholic.
My theory, like my really good theory that I talked to you about.
And he takes out a lot of that anger on Ben and blames Ben for his mother's
death.
death.
He's very abusive to Ben.
Yeah, he is.
It seems like it was especially as a child. So I have a good theory, which is kind of based off of many different little theories and little things that I've seen in the show. Because there's like, I saw an interview with Michael Emerson. He was talking about how him and Sterling Bowman were talking about their theories about the show, and they talked about that Ben and Locke are brothers. I don't like that one that much.
Yeah.
But their theory was because Emily's the mom, and they don't know who Locke's dad is. And Michael Emerson even said we don't even know we don't know for sure who Ben's dad is. So that got me thinking.
Huh.
Maybe Roger isn't Ben's dad. Maybe Emily like had a different partner and that's the father of Ben, because that would add on to his Roger's list of reasons to hate Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is the casting department didn't really think about that well, because there's it doesn't really add up. None of his parents have those just like bright blue eyes or dark hair.
Right.
And so
they do look pretty different.
They look very different.
Well, maybe like an alternate theory, like it's not necessarily that Ben isn't his son, but even just the fact that like maybe he suspects he's not, right?
Yeah.
And that would explain why he seems to be like increasingly, mean to him, because as Ben grows up, maybe more and more he's kind of looking at him and thinking like, I don't see myself in this kid at all. Like, yeah, so I think it's a good theory. Because Roger's pretty terrible to Ben.
He is really bad.
And I mean, the whole point of Roger, I think, on the show is to sort of explain to us how Ben turned out the way he did. And kind of all those childhood woundings. But
well, yeah, and then it starts just kind of, it seems to be verbal. But then we do know that in 1977, it's more than that.
Yeah.
It's, he comes in and his glasses are broken because he brought the sandwich. Which is very bad. Like, can you imagine? Because Roger has a tendency to get drunk. So this is probably like an everyday thing.
And even worse is sort of that, like, Saeed sees this and is, like, appears to be a bit disturbed by it, and yet proceeds to just shoot Ben.
Yeah.
Like, you would think that, like, witnessing that firsthand would actually change Saeed's mind a little bit.
I don't even like, because he asks young Ben what happened to his glasses. But then he says, I know. My dad was a harsh man as well. But I don't like that.
No.
Because it's kind of like almost saying that it's okay. And I don't like that.
Well, and I mean, why wouldn't Saeed sympathize with Ben even just a little bit? Because we've talked about why didn't Sawyer do anything, or Horace, or why didn't someone step in? But, like, I mean, it's possible that Roger tried to sort of keep it, unknown, but like Saeed sees this abuse happening right in front of him, and it doesn't even kind of melt him at all, apparently, because then
he just shoots him.
He just shoots him.
He just shoots him.
Shoots to kill.
Like right in the, well, it's supposed to be the heart, but next episode, I guess they had other plans. And if you think about it, like, I still don't understand that, like, he was bleeding for a whole day. Because Richard takes him to the temple, like, during the sun setting.
Yeah, maybe he was just bleeding a little bit, though, internally, like, because Juliet couldn't.
Well, because is it in his heart?
Well, somewhere. They don't really say. Like, they don't really say where the internal bleeding is. But yeah, so this all leads to us seeing a very different side of Roger, because when Ben gets shot,
he seems very concerned. But then I do often think about when Jack says, it's a very good excuse to go and get drunk. So maybe that's really where the concern is at.
But at first, though, he was at, like, the infirmary all the time. He's, like, won't go away.
Yeah.
He's kind of bonding with Kate.
Yeah.
Like, he seems very distraught about Ben, and probably feels really guilty that he wasn't a better father.
Well, yes, he does blame himself.
He also makes another realization about his son.
What?
About the keys?
Yes, because he figures out that Ben took his keys to go free Saeed, and that was his fault because he's such a bad dad. But then, once again, he kind of doesn't, like, realize that it's him that's the problem, because he says, I guess a boy just needs his mother. No, he just needs a good dad.
And if you can acknowledge that, it must be hard for Ben growing up without a mom, then, I mean, be nicer to him, and don't make home such a terrible place.
Yes.
Like, which results in Ben just basically saying, like, I hate it here,
And literally wanting to go with the hostiles,
which
is
he
like,
doesn't even know much about.
yes, which is very it's very extreme.
It is extreme, yeah.
So,
like, can you imagine, you're going to school, you're having these drills, because there's these people that everyone's afraid of and, are menacing, and yet, like, things are so bad for you that you're like, yeah, I want to go with those people because I just want to be anywhere but here. So Roger keeps showing up. How's it going? They're, like, sending him to get supplies, and then while he's gone...
Juliet decides that they're going to take Ben to the hostiles.
Right, it's the only way they can save him.
And also, another thing to mention is that Kate has been very, almost flirty
this is
with
a
Roger.
Weird thing with Kate.
Yes.
It's kind of impossible to watch it without sort of having at least the thought of, like, is Kate a little bit into Roger here? Like...
But I don't think, like, I don't know what Roger's deal is, because he, because then Kate is like, oh, you know, he'll be okay. He'll be fine. After she comes back with Sawyer, just in time. Like, thank goodness Roger wasn't there when Kate and Sawyer were still gone.
Yeah.
Because then for sure he'd, like, file his report.
Right.
But yeah, he's very suspicious of Kate because first Kate donates blood, and then Kate says that he's going to be okay when he's gone. And so Roger actually talks about these concerns with Jack, of all people.
Because Jack is a workman, too.
Yes, Jack is a workman, and he's, like, literally doing him a favor of cleaning this classroom. But Roger gets so offended by it that, like, Jack is trying to do his job for him.
Yeah.
And then talks about how he thinks Kate took, or, like, is
obsessed
is responsible for his son going missing or whatever. And then, of course, Jack is like, I'm going to be responsible, and I'm going to be, he thinks he's, like, in control of the situation, but he's not. Because Roger has just, like, a little temper tantrum, and...
It's kind of good seeing, like, Jack and Roger, because, I mean, Jack's no stranger to temper tantrums.
Yes, and because, like, I just wanted to see, once again, just one more episode, right before Ben gets shot, where just, like, we could see everyone kind of, like, in the Dharma initiative.
Interacting.
Yes,
I agree.
I liked the interaction between Kate and Roger, and Juliet and Roger, and Jack and Roger, and we needed more of that. We need more of those interactions. Like, I want to see Horace talk with, Hurley. Or something.
No, like, it doesn't even necessarily have to advance the plot or be, like, a big thing.
It could just be a filler episode.
A filler episode, yeah.
But like, don't you agree that there just needs to be one more episode before everything goes haywire?
Mm-hmm. But one example of Roger kind of being his own worst enemy is that he's responsible to clean up, like, messes. And, it'd be hard to be, like, cleaning up other people's messes.
Constantly making messes.
But he himself is always...
Like, he can't seem to not do it.
Like, the only way, like, to do a temper tantrum properly is that you smash everything, and then you, like, go off, and if you don't think about it again, it's someone else's problem to clean up.
But it's his problem. He's the workman. He's the main workman, I think. Because, the first temper tantrum he has, he smashes the plate with the food on it, which is so stupid because he's going to have to clean that up in, like, I mean, that's what he came there for, to clean up the room. Right. But he just leaves it even more messy.
Yeah.
And then he has a crash out in the classroom. Does he, though? All I can remember is him just kicking that bucket of water.
Well, yeah. See, what I think about that classroom episode whenever we watch it, like, I'm always trying...
Oh, and the medical station when Ben's not there.
Right.
He, like...
Yeah.
Throws off a thing of...
But in the classroom, I'm always, like, looking around to kind of get more clues as to, like, how the Dharma works. You see that they clearly celebrate Thanksgiving because there's these, like, turkeys. Remember you'd make the turkeys as a kid with, like, your handprint, like, cutting out your hand? And then...
what grade is that? It can't be Ben's class.
Well, and then that raises more questions of, like, where are all the kids? Like,
it could be Charlotte's class.
I mean, there's a school... Like, I was thinking it was maybe just, like, a one-classroom school because there's not enough kids. But you're right. This really seems like an elementary school classroom.
Yeah, like, Ben is 15 in that
Yeah.
time, and I don't think he would be making those Thanksgiving turkeys.
And I think there's a bit of a continuity error because we see like Jack is like going to clean off the board and there's all this writing and I was like trying to read it.
Yeah, she's all obsessed with the classroom.
And then the camera goes to Roger for like not very long and then next thing we know like the board has completely been erased.
So good job, Jack.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
pretty
like,
efficient.
yeah. But yeah, that's just another one of Roger's flaws.
But getting back to Kate just quickly.
Okay, yeah.
I think what the show was trying to suggest was that at this time, Kate is really grieving Aaron. Like, we don't even know yet what happened, but, you know, later we find out that she left him with his grandmother, and she's gone back to the island to find Claire. But she's really, really missing him. So I think that's supposed to be why she's being so nice to Roger.
But it seems like...
But it just comes off like
just something else.
Something else.
Because we've seen Kate with Sawyer and Jack and even her husband in flashbacks, but it seems like something like that.
And it just, I mean, knowing Ben like Kate does, even if you weren't aware that Roger was like an abusive alcoholic, you're probably not going to be kindly disposed to the man who raised Ben.
And that is
like right off the bat.
That is one of my favorite, like, there's just some faces that I really like in Lost, and that's one of them. When he says that his name is Roger Linus, you can just see on her face that she's like, oh no.
Yeah.
This is Ben's dad, or like related to Ben.
Right.
And then not even 20 seconds later, Jen pulls up with this shot kid, and what do you know? Roger's freaking out because that's his son.
Yeah.
And Kate immediately figures it out. So
I think that's what they were going for, but it comes off a little bit weird.
Yeah, it is. It does seem weird. You're totally right.
So let's talk a little bit about, you continued to, like, for a while I think Roger was not your favorite character, but, you're really still into Roger Workman.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were going to go to the Comic-Con or the Expo in Calgary. And so you had the plan that you were going to be Annie, from the show.
Well, no, it was going to be just my costume, but it did work well that there was a Dharma and a Shiv member named Annie. So, it was kind of both of that. And I was a motor pool person.
Yeah, so that means you had the navy blue work suit and like, your dad arranged to get it like embroidered.
It's a really nice.
So very, very good.
It's very nice.
So we show up like right away.
It's my story, Shawna.
I'm just gonna like start it. Like right away, we even see a Lost related booth, like,
yes,
which we weren't expecting.
Yeah, that's right. There was this booth. This is a mini shout out for you guys, and it was like they made their own Lost show. So they actually like went through all the work. I don't know where they're from, but they went to the island.
Yeah.
a.k.a. Hawaii.
To, like, the shooting locations.
And the barracks are in there. We haven't watched it, but we'll get around to it.
Yeah, we will.
And they made their own Lost show, which is like good on you. And then of course. So when I first saw it, I was like, that looks so much like the Dharma symbol. But I do know that it's a part of the Chinese religion. The Bagua is what the symbol is based off of. But then,
we figured out, like, hey.
What is it called? The
Avalon Station or something?
Avalon Station.
Yeah. Yeah, so then we're excited that there's something Lost related, and they're really excited because Annie is, like, dressed as, like, a Lost, type character.
And so they give me this Apollo bar. I haven't eaten it because it's just too nice to eat.
Yeah, it's a souvenir.
But I feel like I also want to know what it tastes like.
Yeah. So then we say, like, oh, well, of course they gave you the chocolate bar because, there's probably not going to be anyone else here, like, dressed from Lost.
And the reason that we were there was to meet Dr. Marvin Candle,
yes.
Which I will say, I was texting my friend the other day, and I was asking her what she's being for Halloween. And she was like, I'm being Shredder from the 80s movie
wow.
Ninja Turtles. And I was like, I got a story for you. And she was very impressed because I met him.
Yeah, that's what we were really excited for. And they actually, at this, Avalon Station had pictures of Dr. Marvin Candle because they were excited that he was going to be there too.
Yeah.
And did you get to meet him?
I did get to meet him, and I was so awkward. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Francois. Francois Chow is his name.
Yeah.
I'm really, really sorry that I was so
Oh no, I'm sure you were
stiff.
fine.
I got so nervous because it was my first time meeting someone I like.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to witness Annie meeting him because I was in line to meet David Boreanaz.
My dad was there.
Of course, like Angel from Buffy. That was my own little
experience.
But
then after that, she was still waiting in line, and my dad was who knows where.
So Annie's probably thinking it's already peaked at this point, right?
So me and my brother are sitting against the wall, and keep in mind, Dono has not watched the show. This was last year, and we are just being so annoying. And then I see someone in a jumpsuit, but I had seen a lot of Ghostbusters people. They wear lots of the same colors.
From the back, it would be hard to tell.
But at the back, it really took me a while to read it, but it says Dharma. And so I spring up and I grab my brother and I go tell Donna to get my dad. And yeah, there was a Dharma worker. And so, of course, we have to stop him and get a picture with him. Not only was it a Dharma worker, it was Roger Workman himself.
Can you believe it? Really, what are the odds that we're going to go we're only going to see one person dressed as a Lost character?
And it's Roger. It's Roger. Of all the people, you could be LaFleur, you could be Horace, but no, he chose Roger. And yeah, he was.
And they found each other.
It was it's really fate. But they were very excited. He was really nice. I should have asked for his Instagram or something, some way of contacting him, so that we'd never have to be away from each other.
But if you happen to be watching, we're planning on being in Calgary again this year.
Yes.
Because
and so yeah, Roger, if you're watching this, we're gonna have your picture up.
I hope that's okay.
If you give us a comment, if you're coming to the Calgary one this year, we're going to try our best to be there. And if you want a spot on the show by Zoom or something, you can have it, man, because going as Roger is that's something. And just so perfect too.
Yes.
The Converse and the bag.
Yeah, it was just very, very intelligent.
Well done. And my dad's theory is that it's the same story as me, that his dad wanted him to watch the show, and
because the dad seemed
very excited. And I was so excited. I didn't flub that up though. I wasn't stiff and awkward for that.
Well, it was probably just pure kind of joy and excitement that there was someone there as Roger.
It was so amazing, and I wouldn't shut up about it and then getting to tell Shawna that afterwards.
I just couldn't believe it.
I don't think you did believe it.
Well, you showed me the picture, but it's pretty amazing.
So we'll have the picture up.
Yeah, we're hoping he's going to be back this year because there's another Lost cast member, so Dominic Monaghan, he's
all
actually,
the Hobbits.
Yeah, he's there as part of the Hobbit reunion, all 4 Hobbits.
So we're going to try our best to get that done, because we are big Lord of the Rings fans, but also Lost fans, and he's in both, so...
And hopefully, I would think there'd be some Lost fans there, the whole Not Penny's Boat,
Right.
So.
But I actually hope there's not too many, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of nice to be special.
It is nice. It was... I still get that same feeling of just utter joy, because that was just so incredible. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's continue the podcast.
Yeah, well, so now we're gonna actually have our shout out.
Our shout out is not that good. Our shout out is Halloween. Yesterday was Halloween,
and introduce our special guest here.
So today's special guest, Daniel couldn't make it. He's on vacation.
Yeah, we're giving him a little time off.
This is his sister Penny. She's a Halloween cat. And
And that's our shout out is to Halloween.
Our shout is to Halloween because that's where Roger belongs. He's a skeleton, and we all know skeletons are related to Halloween, so.
The best thing would have been if, like, we could have gone to that Dharma van and put, like, a skeleton dressed as Roger.
Well, I wanted to do that in our front yard, but my parents said no.
Yeah, but your family, I saw the photo. So tell us about the costume or the theme this year.
So the theme this year was The Wizard of Oz. I came up with it.
It's also Lost related or adjacent, I guess.
Yes, yeah. And so I was Dorothy. My little sister was the witch. My brother was the lion, and my dad was the Tin Man, and my mom was the Scarecrow. And we went to about 5. I went to about 5 houses last night, and then I went home and watched WandaVision. So that was last night for me.
And as part of your Halloween weekend celebrations, your family is going to be watching
Monster Squad, is it called?
Yes.
Who is featuring our beloved Roger. So, yeah.
So
kind
he
of a
plays,
coincidence.
What, the Wolfman, you said?
I think it's the Wolfman, if I'm wrong.
So this would be a good time to talk about the actor who plays Roger. His name is John Grease. How do you say it?
Grease or Grise?
Okay, we're not totally sure, but I've been like aware of him for a long time. He's just a really good character actor. Especially just around kind of the actually through the 90s and then into the early 2000s, I just saw a lot of him. Like, he was on 90210, he was Dylan McKay's drug dealer. He was in a very famous episode of Seinfeld. And he continues to work and has really had a renaissance in his career of late because he plays Greg from The White Lotus and is actually the only character that has appeared in all 3 seasons. And everyone's like always so excited about Greg. So it's interesting.
That he's...
But it's kind of annoying though, because then you see like all of these like posts where people are like, hey, like, did anyone figure out that Greg is Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite or whatever? And we're just like, he's Roger? Like, that's weird.
I've never watched The White Lotus, but I do freak out whenever I see a poster with him on it.
Yeah. Yeah, he was even in a campaign for some, like, high-end clothing company. So, really kind of a secondary shout-out to the actor because he just keeps going.
Where do you have a secondary shout out?
And I would say, like, probably last year, he was the actor from Lost, like, whose career is doing the best. Who would have thought? But,
Yeah, he's pretty active still.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about, let's just finish off with Roger. We'll talk about Sideways
Yeah,
Roger.
so after the incident, we don't see much of Roger in the incident, actually.
I suppose we should, just as a footnote, tell everybody how he dies.
I'm getting to that.
Okay. Good.
We don't see him after that. We don't know what's going on. We don't even see Roger's reaction when Ben comes back from the temple. But we do know that, 20 years later? 15 years later?
About 20 years later. Well, 15. You're right.
We see not a young Ben, but a younger Ben, who's in his 20s, getting ready for work.
He's also a workman.
He is a workman.
Yeah.
Poor guy. I don't get it. Because he's very, very smart. Like,
yeah, it seems weird that, like,
Ben
Horace,
is so smart.
who is not particularly sharp, is like a mathematician. But, like, the best they can do for Ben is a workman.
So, yeah, and it's his birthday, and they're getting ready for work. And then, right before the scene escalates, Ben asks just like an innocent question, like, do you really blame me for the death of Emily? And Roger just does not give a good answer. And then he says that the next year he won't forget his birthday. Because that's kind of a main plot in The Man Behind the Curtain, that just like Ben's birthday is always being forgotten.
Yeah.
But he results in killing his dad with cyanide.
As part of the purge.
As part of the purge, but like, I assume he asked to kill his dad rather than someone else doing it.
But just based on their interactions before that, do you think maybe Roger did soften a bit towards Ben after he came back from the temple, like after that terrible scare? Or do you think it maybe didn't really last?
I don't know, because obviously Roger is so abusive when he's young, but to actually kill him, that abuse would have to, like, just haunt him. So, I mean, there is a big possibility, but then again, why would he still be so dependent on joining the others?
Yeah.
If the abuse was over and, like, his dad, like, kind of sobered down,
redeemed himself, yeah.
Then, so I don't think so.
No, I don't either, because you really sense this very deep-seated anger still coming from Ben, and he's a little bit conflicted, obviously, but definitely, like, no hesitation, right? So what led to that? It had to be something pretty extreme. And is that the end of Roger?
Yeah.
In one sense, he does die, but we do see him again in the Sideways. So tell us about Sideways Roger.
Sideways Roger is bald.
Which is actually just, like, nice for the actor.
Hey, where's my phone? I need to get my list of Rogers.
Because the actor is bald. He's always been bald. So, yeah, whenever he was playing Roger, like younger Roger, he was obviously wearing a wig.
Very, very good wig. They could have made him have dark hair to, like,
Well, he
make
does have
sense.
dark hair.
No, he doesn't. He has blonde hair.
It's darkish. Anyway, so things are very different in the Sideways, though.
And yeah, because Ben is taking care of him. Because he's sick or something.
He's got emphysema or something.
I think that the island makes you sick if you leave.
That's an interesting theory. But yeah, we find out in the Sideways that they left the island at some point. So they were on the island, father and son.
Probably during the incident. Or something like that.
They're having supper, like some TV dinner, and, Roger makes a comment, like, maybe you would have had more opportunities if we'd stayed there. Maybe we should have stayed.
Okay, so another thing that raises question is, when did Roger become abusive? Was it before they got to the island? Because we know that young Ben is definitely, like, a selective nudist when he comes to the island.
Yeah.
When he's very young.
There's just continuing in the, like, tradition of bloopers.
Yeah, and so that might mean that, like, he was abusive off island too, or did it really just come from the island and then in the Sideways he was like, oh, this isn't good, and then came off the island?
Whatever the case was, it escalated on the island, and maybe in the Sideways reality, like Roger actually said, this place isn't good for us, let's go. So they seem to have a pretty close relationship in the Sideways. And Ben is really the best example of, like, how the Sideways gives you a chance to correct things or do things differently. Because, like, Dr. Ben Linus does so many things differently, like we've talked about. But one of them is, like, he actually is the caregiver for his dad.
So, in the Sideways, it also provides a very good nature versus nurture thing, and it proves that it's nurture. Ben became like that because of his dad. But he's not a murderer in the Sideways. But Saeed in the Sideways is. So that's nature.
It's interesting, though, because it's still, I think both are at play. Because, right, like, the nurture results in him being a very different man. But when he is tempted to take that grab for power, like, you see that is something inside of him, right? And
definitely.
Arts makes that comment, like, oh, I didn't know you were such a killer, or whatever.
But even on the island, you can tell that he is very devious as a child because he's willing to go to any means to get out.
Yeah.
And so maybe that part is nature, just the, like, constant lying.
Yeah, and that, like, desire for power.
But the nurture is definitely the revenge.
And so it sort of goes to show that, like...
I think the witch hat is just unbalancing her.
That it's really just, yes, maybe we're all capable of these things, but it's the nurture that really determines whether we act on them.
Yeah.
So that's the sideways. Now I want to move to the What's Up With That segment, which is very exciting this week.
It's like, what's up with that?
You go ahead, it's yours.
So last weekend, I was on a long, long walk, and this yellow thing caught my eye. And so what it is, it's like a trail, and it's got benches facing the river. And this one bench had a sign on it, and it was almost
the
like
police tape.
Yeah,
but
it's
it was
supposed
crocheted.
to be the police tape, but it was like crocheted instead. And it said, "Caution, hostile." So, of course, I'm just like, what is going on, right? So I immediately take a picture of it, send it to Annie.
Yeah.
And then, I'll have to put the picture up. So then, like, she's like, what? No way. And then I'm like, should I take it? And she's like, yes, definitely. Like, and I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know. Someone put it here. Like, they obviously put a lot of work into it. But yeah, I got to take it.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I was like sitting at home and I was like, I wanted that. I wanted that to be like wrapped above my bed, but
then it turns out that it was actually sort of sewed around.
Well, I think that they may have crocheted it when they were just sitting on the bench.
It seems like it. Or at least it was like a long strip and then they crocheted it together, because I couldn't actually take it off the bench because it's like sort of wrapped around the arm of the bench. So there's no way to get it off. And then I even tried like pulling on it, like thinking I could just unravel a part of it, but it was really well put together. So then I finally thought, well, I can't get this off. And if someone went to this much trouble to like make sure this stays on here, I'm just going to leave it. Although I don't like the thought of it getting all like
dirty,
rained on and snowed, but still, there's just no explanation for it. None at all.
Yeah, it's probably the same person who put the Lost poster up and the same person who has the Dharma van. So.
And the interesting thing too is that if you keep going, and it's a ways up the road, but there's the like water treatment plant, which in our city like is the closest thing we have to the Swan. Like it
looks like the Swan. It's got the whole like dome thing going on.
Except it's not underground, but so it's kind of weird that it was like in the same vicinity as
So
that.
Are we ready for my notes?
Oh yeah.
My phone thinks that they're like family members.
Because you have so many pictures of the actor who play Ben.
Who play Ben?
Yeah.
Where is my favorite Rogers?
Surely you have one.
Okay, just wait. Yes, my favorite Rogers. 1, depressed Roger. 2, abusive Riggier.
I don't know why that would be number 2.
Yeah. 3, crash out Roger. 4, elderly Roger. 5, Kate Roger. 6, tweak out Roger.
Different.
7,
crash out.
caring about his son Roger. 8, janitor Roger. 9, sideways Roger. 10, suspicious Roger. 11, no sandwich Roger. 12, birthday Roger. 13, Portland Roger. 14, car Roger.
Just all the Rogers.
15, dead Roger.
Okay, do you mean skeleton Roger?
Probably.
Because, like, that's what started it all. Why isn't skeleton Roger at the top of the list?
I don't know. I wrote this at 9:30. So.
And what date? August.
You're making me go. August 16th.
Oh, this year, though, so.
Anyway,
obviously Roger has profoundly impacted at least a few people, and so that's why he gets his own episode. I think we're ready for the hot take.
Okay, this goes against everything I stand for, but I've got to say it for the sake of saying it. Roger's the villain of Lost.
Please explain.
He causes everything. Think about how much. So, like, you could put all of the blame on Ben, because think about it. In season 2, he he's kind of responsible for the whole Claire thing with her baby, the raft, Walt being taken, he kidnaps all those people, and in season 3, and then in season 4, the freighter's only coming because Charles Whittemore hates him. In season 5, why is there time travel? Because Ben turned the wheel. And then, of course, he gets shot as a child, which results in lots of problems, which results in even in Saeed becoming evil. And then, of course, the incident wouldn't be possible unless Kate knew the code to go outside the fence, which she only knew because she brought young Ben there. And then in season 6, nothing's really Ben's fault, but the Charles Woodmore stuff still is. But it's not Ben's fault, though. Like, you could say all that stuff is Ben's fault, but it's really Roger's fault, because Roger is responsible for Ben being the way he is.
Yeah, and when we watched the commentary to The Man Behind the Curtain, like, the writers kind of made that point, right? That this is who created Ben Linus. And they made, like, the abuse kind of so extreme so that we really actually do feel sympathy for Ben. So, yeah. But do you think, though, Roger could potentially be more to blame than Saeed?
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe, yes, because he is the one that pushed Ben to the point to break out Saeed.
Mm-hmm.
And then and it's even a loop there, too, because Ben's the one, adult Ben, London Ben, is the one who makes Saeed get on that plane. And then
that's true,
Saeed's the one that shoots young Ben. So
pretty ironic that, like, Ben is, like, going to all this trouble.
And it's just like the whole Juliet thing and all that stuff. So I think they did that on purpose. I think they made lots of, like, loops in season 5.
Although it's interesting because Saeed actually ends up on the plane because of the Lana,
right?
Under Jacob's instructions. And it's kind of funny because, like, Ben is so concerned that everybody be there, but he doesn't actually manage to get everyone there himself. But, like, interesting that he makes all this effort to convince him to come back when it's like, what is he going to do when he's there? Like, shoot you and change your destiny. So.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's my hot take.
And yet, somehow, you have found the grace to forgive Roger. I think it's not so much that you love Roger, like, in terms of his character, but just, he really makes the show a lot more interesting. And he's always having these tantrums. And, like, even you think, okay, now that his son has been shot, like, maybe he's going to, turn over a new leaf. But no, he just, like, shoots Saeed and just...
no, that was fair.
I know, but, like,
I guess I didn't talk about that. We do see Roger again in the incident. Just wait, you keep talking.
But that's really a domino effect too, right? Of him shooting Saeed and everything just kind of goes sideways. And because he's so suspicious of now both Jack and Kate, so Roger does cause a lot of problems.
So he's in 5 episodes.
Did you have anything more to say about Roger and...
Live, laugh, Roger. Live, laugh. I always say live, laugh, the Linus family. Because I love the Linus family. I love every one of them. Emily I only really like because of the actress. But, yeah.
It's interesting, though, that, like, in the Sideways, they still go with the basic facts that, he doesn't have a mother, they went to the island. Like, they could have done it really differently. And, sometimes you think about, oh, what if, Emily hadn't died in childbirth.
But that was her fate.
Yeah.
Speaking of fate, are we going to put up my edited photos for my art?
Well, seeing how...
Because I forgot my art.
Seeing how we don't have the art, yes, we will. But I see that my disc is almost full, so I think we will sign off for this week. So thanks again for joining us. Namaste.
And see you in another life, brother. Bye.